Check. Is this thing on? Welcome to the Daily What Ifs. Did UFOs build Stonehenge? Hello everybody and welcome back to Visual Disturbance. We are back once again for Daily What Ifs. Did UFOs build Stonehenge? I don't know, but we're going to jump into some things here to have some compelling information about Stonehenge. As you know, if you've been following the Visual Disturbance for a long period of time, I love archaeology sites, I love megalithic structures, I love things that are just out of the ordinary, the fringe topic. So, welcome to the Daily What Ifs. Did the UFOs build the Stonehenge? Let's get into it here, folks. So Stonehenge is, according to Wikipedia, you have a prehistoric megalithic structure with Salisbury Plain, Wiltshire, England. Okay, so we have this megalithic structure, this contemporary monuments. Okay, so they have all these blue stones, etc., but I want to emphasize a lot here. There's something alignment with the summer solstice, the winter solstice. The stones are set within the earthworks in the middle of the densest complex of the Neolithic and Bronze Age, right? Monuments in England. So it's interesting that there are burial mounds not too far around. And it's interesting also that it's in the Neolithic period. If you haven't got an opportunity to watch the Nephilim woman in Jerusalem, we talked about the Neolithic period and what they found in Jerusalem not too long ago. So check this out. So I've been really thinking about this and wanted to do a what if. So everybody pretty much knows, if you've been hiding under a rock, what Stonehenge is. We're looking at let's just say astronomer's dream, right? The astronomer's dream of looking into these, let's just say cosmological alignments with these megalithic structures. But it just isn't interesting that it's in England, and isn't interesting that they're predating it back to the Neolithic time. A lot of things went on in the Neolithic time, it seems. A lot of things went down in the Neolithic age, it seems. So Stonehenge could be Stonehenge could have been a burial ground from the earliest beginnings. Deposits containing human bone date from early as 3000 BC, when the ditch and the bank were first dug, and continued it for at least 500 years. So if you look at that and you think about it, I've been looking at a lot of different sites and different, let's just say megalithic sites. What if, I'm going to throw out a what if, did you know there's a TV show that you watch right now, and a lot of people don't know about it, but some people do. It's out there out in the west side of America, out there at the Skinwalker Ranch crew. They have been using things with bovine. So bovine, it comes from cows, right? Bovine blood. And it's interesting that they're talking about quantum entanglement, quantum physics, and maybe something to the effect that quantifiable blood of bovine shows this molecular change in the atmosphere. So I thought about it. And when the daily what ifs, so here's where I'm going. I'm going down the rabbit hole here on Visual Disturbance, folks. So what if the UFOs have a launch pad here that make it conspiracy and just a theory of whatnot? So we're going to get into it. So when you look at this ceremonial site, many believe the Stonehenge was used for religious ceremonial or a burial ground, which they have, like I alluded to a minute ago, they have a ton of burial sites. Human remains was found, suggested it might have been a place for honoring the dead. But what if it's like we talked about in the Neolithic period, and then we talked about the last what ifs we had the woman in Jerusalem found, and I titled it Nephilim when she had 6 fingers. What if, folks, that this is something to do with what I spoke about earlier, because with the Nephilim on that earlier episode of Daily What Ifs. What if there is something to do with life and death, like I alluded to with that program, and there are all these, let's just say, blood everywhere and bone fragments and whatnot. What if there's something that happens and these people wait for this particular moment in time? Or something else diabolical. What if we have some kind of interdimensional concept? And heck, what if we have UFOs placing down it's a launching pad, or it's a landing pad for your Vimana or your Alphanas or the Ifas etc. So astronomical observatory, this alignment of some of these stones, like I said earlier with the solstices and the solar events, which for agricultural or religious purposes. So, and then also they're talking about, the healing sanctuary with these blue stones. So isn't that interesting? We've talked about this a lot. Me and Brother David talked about blue. Get you some blue paint, get you a blue tarp. You know what I mean? You might have a little pop in the sky, a little spray, make it go cray. Y'all remember that. So this theory about it might have been a place of healing. So riddle that one. So here's the question. How were the stones moved? The stones weigh about 50 tons. How could they be transported to distant locations over 200 miles away? The methods used to transport or erect for these massive stones are not fully understood, although the theories include ledges, rollers, and possible water transport, which I just have to completely not even agree with. So if you look at the engineering side of it, the precision on the alignment of the stones suggests advanced knowledge in engineering and astronomy for the time, which is still not completely deciphered. Well, well, imagine that. Well, there's probably some AI components that'll help you decipher it now, according to what's going on in the world. So, when we look at who built it, right? We talked about the Neolithic, the Bronze Age, and these cultural practices remains a puzzle, right? And when you look at the Stonehenge and the cultural landscape with other monuments and barrows nearby, how does this site relate to each other in terms of function or cultural significance is debatable. So it's interesting that there's American Stonehenge, there's Stonehenge all over the place. There's some in Spain. They get that are buried underwater, and then ever so often they'll show themselves. The water will recede, and boom, you have your little tiny Stonehenge. So there's missing pieces, like we talked about the land of Brogard. There's missing stones there too. So it's interesting. They might have broke it up. They might have broke this ancient Stargate up. What do you think, folks? It's a what if program. So these lost stones are indication that Stonehenge has more stones than they're visible today. Where these stones went, whether they were removed or never fully erected, it's unclear. Hello. But, if you wanted something to be hidden and you wanted to something like Gobekli Tepe or, all these Stonehenges and, places that the Ring of Brogard, you would disrupt the flow of the connection to the, let's just say, ley line or Stargate in hints, right? You would have to get away from it. So here's the kicker. So there's suggestions and evidence out there that there's some theory suggests that Stonehenge might have been designed with acoustics in mind. Hello. We've talked about this a lot here in the last month with FOJC. We talked about the psionic abilities and stuff that's coming out, and people are claiming that they can call forth the UFOs, they can use their mind and summon in these craft or whatever, what have you. Isn't it interesting it's an interesting time to be alive? I'm not saying go do that, but that's what their claims are. So it's interesting when you look at harmonics and look at the way the star forts were built and the breaking it down of the molecular structure of the ground, then all of a sudden you have this either cathedral, we talk about Tartarian culture, I'm getting tongue-tied, but as far as the way that they was used and throughout time, these structures have been withstanding the years of time and cataclysms, right? So the architect work is unbelievably, it's a phenomenon, to say the least. So the theories and stuff people are saying, and academia is saying, acoustics in the mind, design acoustics in mind, where certain sounds could have amplified or directed in specific ways for ritualistic purposes. The aspect is still speculative, but adds an interest layer of mystery. Imagine that. But what if the reason why we do these what ifs daily programs, I don't do them daily, but I try to do them as much as I possibly can. I'm going to try to keep pumping them out as much as possible. So what if there's harmonics, some type of a narrative where there is some type of harmonic sound frequency, light spectrum, or something to that magnitude where these ancient megalithic sites, but I'll leave you with this. Limestone, we talked about this on FOJC. Limestone can be manipulated and used and formed with sound frequency waves. So riddle that one. What do you want to bet me that deep down somewhere close proximity of this in this location, let me know in the description box if you guys know where it's at. If you have any inkling of understanding in England, if you're from England, you have the receipts that there's abundance of limestone around this area. I bet probably I'm about 50% sure, maybe 60% sure there's probably limestone laying everywhere all over the ground, underneath the ground. And guess what? So what that is, what I mean, limestone can be manipulated with sound frequency. So riddle that one, folks. I've been finding it everywhere when it comes to limestone. I've been finding all kinds of megalithic structures. You just can't make this stuff up. But what if visual disturbance, we might be on the rabbit trail here. What if we are divulging into things here and looking into things, and what if it's Nephilim, ancient technology of the fallen angels? What if, folks? Because that's what I think it is. I think there's ancient technology, but we talked about the last what if, the daily what if with the Nephilim and the woman from Jerusalem they found with the 6 fingers. Here's the deal. Could it be that these ancient sites are literally Stargate coordinates and Stargate, and that's why they put them on a tourist attraction, or it's just some type of, they put all their money into it to preserve these locations because they have ancient significance, which it ties back to the ancient phenomenon when it comes to the sons of God and the fallen angel narrative, because there's no way that man can replicate it. There's no way that man can do this on his own now. And according to the people in the know, though, they're coming around with the UFO. The ufologists are trying to expand upon the consciousness of man and use man's mind to be able to manipulate stones and manipulate their space around them on a quantifiable field. So riddle that one, folks. What if, like I said earlier with the Stonehenge, what if there's something to do with bovine blood? What if it's quantifiable to a certain extent and it starts making things manifest? I don't know. But what if this is just an ancient site, and it's periodically throughout the summer solstice and time of when the constellations come to a clock, that ever so often that these sites are activated, so to speak. But guess what? If they don't have all the keys, if the stones are not all there in in circumference, this thing can't be activated. So I wonder who able to move 50-ton objects and nobody has any evidence of it. It's just whoosh, it's wiped away from history. I wonder who. But the daily what ifs, folks, did the UFOs build Stonehenge? I would say there's probably something to that, to a certain degree of, like I said, sound waves, light spectrum, autonomous vehicles would be easier to be able to pull this off. If you had if you had a Chinook from military applications, you'd have to have many to be able to transport and make sure these things get to safety. There's no way this could be replicated unless we had some ancient technology that has been hidden, which I believe there has been, and people are just now coming to that knowledge. I wouldn't say it's good knowledge, but there are dabbling in things they probably shouldn't be. But, welcome to the what ifs, the daily what ifs here on Visual Disturbance. Who knows? But I went a little long there. Did the UFOs build Stonehenge? Let me know what you guys think in the description box. Comment below. I really would appreciate it. And thank you all for allowing me to be taking part with me here and being in the daily what ifs and taking part with me on these, let's just say, thought-provoking conversation pieces. So let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you think about the UFOs and who built them. Was it man? Was it the reptilians? Was it the Greys? Was it the Palladians? Was it the Tall Whites? Was it the Nunahi? Did the Nunahi build this? Because the Nunahi means people that live everywhere, anywhere. They can live anywhere. So riddle that one, folks. According to the account, we'll talk about that one day coming down the daily what is the Nunahi, and we'll dive into that narrative and that topic. It's very interesting topic for me. So anyways, with that being said, the UFOs build the Stonehenge. Welcome to the daily what ifs. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for being part of the Visual Disturbance community. See you on the next one. Until next time, Visual Disturbance, I am out of here. Keep your head on a swivel and keep your eyes straight, because you don't never know what's going to come up above you. Remember, a little spray make it go cray cray. Keep your minds on the narrow way. Do not differentiate and get away from the narrow path. Don't get on the broadened path. Stay on the narrow way. So, see you on the next one, folks, on Visual Disturbance channel. Until next time, Visual Disturbance, I'm out of here.
Got one that can see.